Uh, this is very Cindy Lou Who today. Just like, I feel like I'm right out of a Dr. Seuss book.
Yes. And today, we are going to cover the 5 secrets to success.
No.
Or the 7 habits.
No. We do have an announcement. So first, we'll recap the weekend. Many of you know we had our very first back in person workshop.
Yes.
So that was so much fun. So we will talk about that. And also wanted to make an announcement that we have 2 health challenges going on right now. Look, why is this not turning? Oh, I see. We have 2 health challenges going on right now.
Okay.
One of those start today, like today. So if you have some health goals and you haven't gotten started, you're like, I need help, we can do that. One starts today, and we'll be starting people all week long. The second challenge actually starts Monday. Not going to lie. The one that starts Monday is going to be more intense. And it's for those who maybe you are exercising regularly but need some extra accountability, or you're not seeing the results you want, or maybe you're a past client who you transitioned, you actually have a regular exercise routine now, or maybe you don't, you just have really maintained them and doing a really good job, but you need that added extra accountability, a little bit more clarity so that you can level up even more in your health. This is for those who are really serious. It's going to be hard. You will get results.
But doing hard things changes the way you think about your ability to do hard things.
That is true.
Changes your level.
And we were a little late today because I was in the zone, because this challenge isn't going to be cute. It's not going to be a cute challenge. This challenge is going to be a massive challenge in regards to your integrity, your word, your accountability.
That's important to point out.
That is what this challenge is about. It is about saying, yes, I'm going to do this, and is about doing it. And selfishly, I'm starting this one for our clients because my official training for 29029 started, and I need some accountability too. And I have learned that when you link arms with people doing hard things, not only do you get to walk through a hard thing with other people, but it's way more fun with others. So
yes. Well,
that's what is happening.
How do I say this? It's an extraordinary way to live when you can know that your word is connected so closely to action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And oftentimes those become farther and farther apart.
Yeah.
When you get known for your word.
Yeah.
It's a really powerful way to live.
And some people may actually continue doing the things that they're doing, but where they're going to grow in the challenge is in their integrity or in other areas of their health that maybe they haven't looked at yet. And they'll find a win, because when you do something for more than 3 weeks, you all of a sudden have to become a very intentional person to stop doing those things.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, about when you think about health, a lot of times people think going to the gym, eating healthy, and, those phrases like you can't outrun a bad diet. And it's very easy to slip into this mindset of health as being a physical mattering that's happening. Mm-hmm. And while that is a component of it, it is equally, in fact, I would argue that a majority of the population in the world, when they think about getting healthy, it starts actually with the things like language, health is a much more of it's an equal heart and mind and relational aspect of your life than it is just a physical being. Mm-hmm. And they rise together. Mm-hmm. It's like, if people want, why do you want to, if you really think about why you want to be healthy too, what is that? What's the point? And they typically will say, so I can play with my kids more, so I can, do the things I've always loved. Mm-hmm. And what they're really dancing around is they want to be happy. Mm-hmm. They want to be fulfilled. They want to feel joy. They want to feel bliss. They want to feel this sense of peace and ease, or whatever they're looking for. Yep. And it's like they want the hand, right? But the back and the front hand rise together. Health in relationships and integrity, mindset, fulfilling your commitments continuously over and over again, the literal foundation for a relationship. It is what allows for that experience of bliss or happiness to be experienced. What we would call an extraordinary life. Too.
Right. And there is something out. So I'm reading this book, and they always have these amazing nuggets.
Oh, you talking about that nugget you read this morning?
Yes. So
go for it.
So the chapter that I was reading this morning was about patience. And what's so funny is that people want things to happen so fast. They're unwilling to wait or do the work for as long as it actually takes. And by doing that, what you miss out on is the experience of either getting the result that you actually wanted. The other side of that is getting a crappy result because you hastily, like, we're trying to get it done, so you get this result that's not as strong as it could be. Or you exit entirely, always in this pattern and this cycle of never getting the results you want. So what if you were patient enough for 32 days? What if you were patient enough for 32 days to actually see something through in its entirety the way it's designed so you get the result that you want? It doesn't matter what it is. To actually have something new appear for you. That's like amazing.
Well, by the way, and if you're listening to that, I mean, I could tell you right now personally, like Sierra, like, and we've had this discussion over and over again. Many times people are stuck thinking like, no, I'm not, I don't believe that I can go 30 days without drinking alcohol. I don't believe that I can go 30 days doing whatever XYZ. It doesn't matter with whatever it is. And maybe rather than just taking yourself out of the game, what's possible is you can design something else. So like if it's not this challenge and you're like listening to this and you're like, oh, that sounds cool, but I'm not ready for that. Like you can still take a step forward. You can say, okay, well, could you play all out for 5 days? Like, and you do something for 5 days? There's a reason why anyone in AA will tell you 1 day at a time.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
You can do 1 day.
You have to just don't believe in the 32. Believe you can do one. And then believe you can do another one. And then another one. And you'll realize not only is your patience building, but your ability to actually follow through with your word is. Because we say yes to a lot of things that sound big and scary. And in the background, there's a lot of unfair fear, unshared conditions that are actually preventing you from even taking the first step. So this challenge that's going to start on May 15th that we have for our health coaching clients, I was already texting back and forth for one of the participants, and she's so pumped. She's so pumped because she has just done a year of crushing it through her health and like looking at her goals. She's been through 2 holiday seasons. I mean, come on. How many people go through holiday seasons trying to work on their health? She did the dang thing. And now she's like, I'm so confident. I feel like I can level up in this.
Yes.
And she's had and expressed enough humility to say, and I still need help in these areas. And I know for myself, like starting this challenge and the training guide, that this nutrition piece is very different for me because it's a lot of movement. So it's a lot more calories. It's a lot more food. It's going to take a lot more intentionality. And I know personally that I have chosen to nourish my body with what I know that it needs and nothing else. So that is hard. Like, I'm going to have to do this all summer long. Like, that is challenging. So the possibility of deciding is there. And once you start and you get in those actions, what started out as, oh, I'm scared to start this challenge, I don't know. Then she was like pumped up about it. Going back and forth. So just start taking the action. That diffuses fear real fast.
You want to talk about the weekend at all? What did we do this weekend? We had an amazing weekend. We
did have an amazing weekend.
We had the experience of of being with a room full of several couples, and ever since COVID, guys, the schedule for Relationship by Design, the schedule for the workshop, the path to living extraordinary, the path of an extraordinary. I always pick that up. The path of. Help me out.
Out of extraordinary
Yes, the
relationship.
path of. I'm like, not living. The path of. We're on like 4 hours of sleep, y'all. The path of an extraordinary relationship is, yeah, we had this amazing weekend with all the couples, and there's something like, it's something kind of amazing about being with people that I get to like. There's something about experience over. Like, I was thinking about this last night. If you look at a plane flying through the sky, and the first thought was like, well, the only reason that's flying is because it's creating enough lift on the wing, and then the jet and the fuel's pushing it forward, which is creating a lot of propulsion forward. And yeah, it's just kind of like and you just already know exactly what's happening.
Mhm.
You immediately take yourself out of the experience of watching fly through the air,
Mhm.
and it's really really neat seeing people go from the headspace of trying to like, I'm here to have a better or fix or something,
Mhm.
versus moving to the just the full experience of being in this relatedness to each other. And
Mhm.
it's just, I just geek out about it. And it's so much fun to see and experience, and it's different every time.
It is. It's different every time. And something that is really unique about this workshop is that it is designed in such a way that it includes all of the rooms before it, meaning it includes all of the participants who have ever sat in a chair, not just the ones in front of you, but all of the workshops that have happened before the one that you take, because it's just such a creation of
Mm.
relationship, and those happen all of the time. And they're kind of evergreen in that
Yep.
way.
Yep.
And there's also something really special. And it was fun because every time there are new participants in the workshop, on the last day, when we say you're part of that now, like they are a part of this workshop now, and like the design of it, and because it's just so moving and creating in relationship, that they are kind of welcomed into this really cool community and space.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something so special about being in a room of people who are willing to sit in their chair and play full out.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Like, you know the difference. If you've ever played sports, if you've ever maybe a band or a musician, or you've been in theater or, music or orchestra, whatever, you know the feeling of when everyone's in the pocket, when everyone is playing full out, and playing by the rules. And it is amazing to see what is possible when people sit in their chair and play full out. And some of them had no idea what they were getting into, or
Yeah.
expecting.
Yep.
Like, the expectations were, I'm here for my relationship. Beyond that, I'm so open to whatever it is we're going to see here, and still playing full out. And it was just so great.
Yeah.
You break to leave on the last day, and everybody is zonked. Everyone is tired, zonked. It's been a really fun weekend. And still, every time, we never say, okay, you're free to go. And then everybody's like, great, gets up and leaves.
Hour and a half later.
Everybody's down and is, oh my God. I mean, it is such a fun time
Oh,
afterwards. Like,
and when you hear comments like, there's a reason why a lot of the people who join us are counselors, therapists, and all walks of life. And it was really one of our folks that joined us said that they got more out of the first like 3 hours than they did like multiple years of counseling and therapy in their relationship. And it's a much more profound way to live, and when you can actually see clearly what you're engaged in terms of relationship, and then you have so much freedom and ability to move.
Yeah.
There's this. You know what we should do? Not today, but we should actually. I think it'd be kind of fun to We should act out one of our
Why is this stupid?
reoccurring tiffs one of these days on a live. It'd be kind of fun
Mhm.
to kind of demonstrate one of the exercises. That'd be a lot of fun. But what's next? What's next for us this week? I feel like we have we are. Did you want to share anything about what we're doing in terms of like the top code secret?
No. So, well, no, it's not. It's not top code secret.
You okay?
We have a lot coming up. I'm trying to like think about.
I know we're like fried.
We have a lot coming. The challenges that start this week and next week are happening.
Yep.
And the one that is, or the app that is coming is going to be great for people who want like a little taste of what we do, and for those who maybe just need some reminders.
Mm-hmm.
And on May 25th, we are having a free round vows and writing vows, creating vows. Mostly though, it will be a discovery and an opportunity for your relationship to really create something foundational as you embark or have just started or would like to renew your vows.
Yeah.
We were chatting this weekend through the workshop of like, I don't even remember my vows.
Yeah.
Right. And because of that, things happen, right? You take them for granted a little bit.
Yep.
And you, by the very, you have exposed yourself to mischief, frustration, and all of these things. So we're going to talk about that, and we are going to give people a really fun experience to either write vows that they'd like to share publicly, whether they're getting married or whether they want to renew vows that they can share publicly, but also not all of your vows, if you don't want to share them like at your ceremony or something, it's still a really great discussion for a couple that is about to embark in something. And it's something that you can also do privately with each other during the free webinar. So I'm excited about it. It'll be really fun. And no relationship is off limits, you know?
Well, I think a lot of times we approach marriage like you say your vows and that's it for the rest of your life and then you die.
That's it.
And then there's a reason why we hear renewing of your vows, because I think there's an inherent knowing that actually bringing forth a new creation and keeping things to it's a new game to play. It's a new, in games we'll call them rules, in business we'll call them contracts, but in marriage it's just a vow. Like, I promise you, like, I will do X, Y, and Z. And what happens is we say it 15, 20, 30 years ago and you don't even remember what you said, or it's freaking poetry. And, it's just like a bunch of nonsense.
It's like flowery.
It's like, I will walk to the ends of the earth. Like, I don't even know what that means. It means nothing.
Yeah, the earth is round.
Y'all. Well, actually,
we're gonna get flagged again.
You should watch this video. And so it's actually nonsensical. So you're entering into an engagement with somebody that actually is based on real no commitment. It's committed in something that's actually like science fiction.
Right.
And what we would like to offer is giving people the opportunity to get really clear on that. And I think it's a profound way to live, to say, yes, we have made a commitment to each other to till death do us part. However, we found that it's a lot more powerful to play on top of a commitment that's also more detailed and shorter time frame. Like, we're playing a 5-year game.
Because then you can play full out. If you think about it like this, a soccer game is 90 minutes. Have you ever played soccer?
Yes. Could you imagine?
Go on an elementary school soccer field. Those are the smallest soccer fields you can play. You will get tired in about 4 minutes.
Can you imagine trying to play we promised to play the full 18 hours.
No.
You're going to fizzle out.
Fizzle out so quickly. And yet we live as if we can play forever. But if you have a shorter time, I'm going to, you know, do this for X amount of days until this time, then you can play full out, dang it, full
Yeah.
out in your relationship for that time. And then you're like, so what? Then it's over? No,
No.
you get to play again if you want to, or maybe you add some condiments in there
Hey,
and
that
it's
was
like really
fun.
juicy and
You know, yeah,
powerful.
let's create this instead.
Yeah.
You know,
So there's a lot of possibility when it comes to renewing your vows, writing your vows, creating promises together that go beyond the poetry that movies and shows and books will, have you do. And in some of those, we even took some of the words out or added words in that are more comfortable. And we're telling you and inviting you that what if you had stuff in there that wasn't actually comfortable because the only way to do it is to really do it together.
Mhm.
Like, whoa, you have to keep in mind, like, these are co-owned. You get to do them together
Mhm.
into your future versus this is my responsibility now, and now I have to do this.
Yeah.
No, it's really owning them together and moving forward. So we're gonna be talking about that.
It's hard not
It'll
to
be
keep
fun.
continuing expanding on this, right? It's just
It'll be really, really great. So, and it is wedding season. A lot of people are getting married. Some people are like, "Well, I already have my vows. I don't need help writing them." It's like, it's not about writing your vows. It's about really understanding
and getting clear,
and getting clear on what it is that you want to create together.
not just create together what your relationship is standing on.
Yeah. Yeah. Because for some, it's standing on history, it's standing on longevity already. That's why they're getting married. Or maybe it's standing on kids. Like, if you had kids, you're like, "Oh, we need to get married now." Now it's standing on that, right? It's, like,
Yes.
tied to something or it's tied to obligation. Maybe it's, like, arranged or something like that. It's like, okay, all of those, fine, not bad. What can you create together to actually live into the future? And so that's what it's really going to kind of focus on. So if you have, let's say you're going to a few weddings, like this is something like, oh my gosh, it's going to be free, like send it over. Um, and if you have been in a relationship for a while and it's a little hazy, like
Mhm.
hop on.
What
Like it's just to explore where you where you could go next or what the possibilities for your future are together.
you might be thinking, well, our relationship stands on mutual trust, understanding, affection, respect. Uh, we're telling you that those are all qualities that actually are rise and play. They're in the background of what's actually standing on. Are you going to feel a lot of affection and affinity and quality if you continue to break all your promises to me
Mhm,
and you break our vows
mhm,
and you don't it's like if we're not really clear on the very foundation of a relationship,
mhm.
and at best we think it stands on things that are I would say experiential, would you say? How would you declare that?
We create them and they're fluffy and flowery,
Mhm.
and we also will not play the game because of certain conditions, right?
Okay,
There's, like, a lot there.
well,
I
like,
don't know if you can
okay, well,
unpack
no,
all of
say
that right now.
it's based off of respect. Like, okay, respect, like, just to give you an idea, respect to me is different than respect to Sierra. Like, what
And for
actions,
how long?
yeah, and for
What
how
do I
long,
have to do?
and what actions are you taking that to allow that I feel respectful for?
Yeah, it's like,
So,
do you see, like, the powers over there all the time? I don't get
yes,
to
there's
decide
so many
whether he thinks
pitfalls.
I'm being respectful or not. Like, that doesn't you see how, like, tricky and, like, mischievous that can be? It's, like,
Mhm.
very mischievous. So, yeah, so we're gonna dive into that. It'll be really fun. And I think what's so special about, I mean, and even the weekend, and I shared about this yesterday, is that there were couples in there who'd been married for 35 years and couples in there who had been together for 2.5 years. Like, when is it that you're gonna decide that you've arrived in your relationship?
Mm,
Like, is that what you want to? Like, do you want to arrive in your relationship?
mhm,
'Cause then what? Then you
yeah,
arrive, and then that becomes more ordinary, and then right? So,
mhm,
it was so great to have a plethora of, uh, ranges,
yes,
relationship years or years in relationship ranges, I guess, and everyone in there still experience relationship.
mm,
because you have relationships with more people than just your spouse or just your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, this is
So-
foundational to like the laws of the universe, if you really think about it. Like the first things I learned in school is if you're not growing, you're dying. Like no plant,
Really, that
no
was one of the
body.
first things you learned in school.
Yeah, well, I learned that in like biology of eighth grade. It's like things are always renewing.
He
so-
didn't learn anything until 8th grade.
Eighth
You
grade.
heard it here.
Actually, you heard, yeah. I was checked out. I was checked out. But yeah, there's this constant state of renewal, and you see
Yeah.
that with even things that are foundational. Like you have to go back and look at the foundation, check it out. Do we want to reinforce it? Do we want to add to it? Do we want to continue? It is something that creates a space for something to occur, and that's what we want you to do. Is we want you to play all out in the game of your health and the game of your relationship, and that's what we're. It's really really fun to explore, but we gotta be careful because we could just keep going.
I know.
But I think later this week though we should make it a goal to do a skit though.
Why?
I just feel
I'm not feeling that. I don't think that's happening. You can try to convince me, but
okay. This is
I'm not feeling it.
no agreement on that yet.
No.
We should have like a fight.
I
We
just
should
have
a
so
fight
much
about
I
it.
have to do this
You're
week
right.
that
No,
I'm
it
like,
is a busy
that
week.
sounds,
Yeah, that sounds
ridiculous.
Well,
because there's a lot more that actually has to be explained and done before and after that. So that's why. I think full picture. Like, what does A to Z look like? Zach is just like, let's do the P part.
No, I do.
And
No,
then-
I do the XYZ.
We'll fill out. I'm like, no, that's not how.
No, you're right. I do the Elemento.
Yeah, you only do the Elemento.
I mean, I skipped the first 8 years of my school. Just went right to 8th grade.
Right to
The
8th grade.
first thing I learned in school in 8th grade.
Yeah. You skipped to the Elemento, and I'm over here being like, I had to draw lowercase a at least.
I don't know if I ever learned that properly. My first grade teacher, Mr. Eshe, said, "Just let them explore how they want to write." And my mom said, "No." So to this day, I have some backward writing habits. That was not a very good teaching technique, I don't think.
I think he was like ahead of his time in terms of like
He-
neurodivergence.
he-
The problem was that he was like, oh, he's drawing bees backwards. We'll just let him do that forever.
That's like, that's an expressive way to do it. Let him.
It was like, I understand what he was trying to do. Like honoring how you are wired. Also,
It's like 2
B's
plus
and
2.
D's are different.
Well, and I knew something was wrong when I was like 2 plus 2 is 7. He's like, well, hey, let him express that. If that's what it means.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like, no, it's fine. No.
like there are certain things. So he was just ahead of his time, I think.
Mr. Eshe,
maybe.
God
He
bless
just
him.
he was
He-
ahead of his time and a little
Yeah. He was a nice guy, though. Nice guy.
He was a good man.
That's probably why I liked him. Because he was always like,
No, do what you want.
he was very about letting.
He didn't want to resist you because there was to be more pushback in the
Yeah.
resistance anyway.
That's funny, out of all the elementary school years, I literally don't really remember. I remember first and third grade. I remember first, third, a little fourth. Like, I
remember-
actually don't even remember any of second
I
grade
remember
at all.
moments of I remember moments of kindergarten, moments of, I think that was second grade
Mhm.
and fifth grade.
Jesus.
Fourth and fifth grade.
Fourth grade was.
But I
very,
don't
very
remember
good.
first
Yeah.
grade and I don't remember third grade.
Funny how it's like, it's almost like you black
Weird.
out. It's
That's
like,
weird.
yeah, because it's like snapshots. I remember.
I actually don't, I really don't remember. I think it was second or third grade. I'm either remembering second grade and forgetting third grade or the other way around, that I had a teacher from Australia
Yes.
and then it switched back halfway through. That's the only reason
I
I
remember
remember it.
that. Do you remember it in terms
This
of
is
like
Turner.
Turner? Yeah. Do you remember? So I remember their names. I don't remember second grade. Like, second grades are blacked out. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But do you remember? But I remember first grade more. Do you remember? For me, it's like a kind of like it's like a very
Moments?
brief. It's a moment. It's like there's really probably 3 things I remember in fourth grade. One is Miss Neebelson. That was her name, Miss Neebelson. And I remember her telling me, "You have to learn how to write cursive, or you won't be able to function in life." I remember that. I'm serious.
And that's true because you have a really hard time reading sometimes. If it's like,
I couldn't. I just.
so
I
you do
failed.
have to learn cursive.
failed.
I'm a firm believer you have to
No,
learn
cursive. I never learned it.
because you will have a hard time reading script. Or
I
certain
never learned.
things.
I'm not even joking. It's never
And
happened.
that's a useful. Dang.
If you told me to write in cursive, I couldn't do it. I actually couldn't do it. But also, she grabbed my ruler,
Oh, yeah.
and then she threw it across the room, and then I got in a fight with tetherball.
Oh. I remember distinctively I was in 4th grade, and our teacher, you know how like the principal comes in and like evaluates the class or whatever. So for whatever reason, she chose the math lesson of the multiplication table. You know, like where you have like 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 10, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. It's like 10s or
Yes,
whatever.
yeah, I remember
Okay,
that.
so she chose to teach a lesson on that, and it was like so boring.
Yeah.
Like it was so boring. I was like, and it was just like, this is this and this is that and blah, 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 blah. And then, like, the next day, she came into class and, like, yelled at the whole class because she said we made her look bad for that lesson.
How old was it?
As in 4th grade.
In 4th grade.
She was like, you guys made me look so terrible. You were all so bored and not engaging and blah, 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 blah. And it was really confusing for the whole class because as a teacher, she was always fun and bubbly and made everything super entertaining.
So she got nervous.
Yeah, but, like, she made this lesson, like, legit boring. Like, I remember it so well because all of us were just like, and so she came the next day. She yells at the class for us doing a bad job and making her look bad. And you know what the class reaction was?
What?
It was like, but you were so boring. Like, why did you do that? That was so boring yesterday. Like, why did you choose that? Like, literally the whole class was like, yeah, the whole class was like, no, that was boring. And this was that. And she was just like,
AKA, that was bad teaching.
Yeah, we were all like, what? That was boring. What do you want us to do? We knew that. Or we like everybody like, it was so weird. So I'll never forget that.
Did you have those little like plastic things you could push the buttons? It was like a square with a bunch of buttons on it. It was the 1 through 10 and 1 through 10. Depending on which one you pushed, you're like, oh, it was like a little like.
Oh, I vaguely remember
9 times 3.
I vaguely remember that. But yeah, and then 5th grade was just really fun. Teachers again. I was always. How funny is this? I was in a class. I don't even know where we're going with this conversation. I was in this class.
Memories are fun.
I was in this class in 2nd grade that had an Australian teacher that switched to an American teacher halfway through the year. And then I was in a split class where it's like 3-4 split. And then the next year I was in a class that had 2 teachers, 1 teacher in the morning and 1 teacher in the afternoon. It's crazy. Because 3 out of my elementary school career, I had 3 classes that were like weird, like not typical classes. Probably because I was a good student. You know,
I would have, yeah.
I don't want to get lost in the mix. But I do remember we would have this classroom marketplace, and this one kid, Igor, would bring salamanders to sell from the forest.
I used to collect salamanders.
And then he'd sell salamanders. Oh, my allergies are making my ears.
How much you want to bet that guy's like a businessman now? Like he's just
100%.
hustling deals.
100%.
He's coming to school. I'll show you this.
No, 100%. He is probably. I bet if I was to look him up, he's probably like
running some company
or finance, like
probably an
broker. No. It was a marketplace. It was like a marketplace. But the difference between what Igor was bringing and what everybody else was bringing is that everybody else had to go buy supplies, right? He didn't. He just went outside and grabbed stuff. He was like business mind oriented. He's like, I'm not going to spend money.
I love that. All right, well, we should wrap it up.
Wait, you know what everybody's told? You know what's funny about the salamanders? Is while Igor was selling real salamanders, everyone else was trying to sell those beaded salamanders with like the beads, you know? You make like the lizard shape.
You probably killed them all.
With the beads.
Yeah.
I bought one and I was terrified one time because we went camping and I came home and it was gone. But I found it. It was just behind my bedroom door.
Are those like extinct? Because I feel like I've never. I mean,
that's true.
That was like a common.
Those little brown salamanders.
You would just go outside, pull up a log.
Warming. They're probably all dead now.
No, they're just probably. I don't even know. I've never seen them.
I know you can see them at Nike or something.
Yeah,
I've never seen them.
Yeah,
I would love finding those. They were so fun.
Here, I'm gonna do a post about that. I'm curious.
Yeah. Hey, does anybody have seen salamanders?
Maybe they're called something different. Is that what we call them, or they actually called salamanders?
We were calling salamanders, but I actually think they were newts.
Still, newts.
Like on Matilda, they were those little things on Matilda. They look like you know axolotls that are in the ocean. These were like land axolotls.
Or
they were cute.
Yes.
They weren't like gross.
No, they're cute.
They're
Yeah,
cute.
they're like cute little lizards.
Yeah.
And they need a lot of moisture. They're like frogs, but lizards.
I did kill one because I didn't give it enough water in
Yeah,
his
they
thing.
dry out.
But then I also lost one, and I was scared I was gonna find it dead and all shriveled up, but it was alive. But I was scared because I also had a cat, so I was really like,
How many small creatures have children killed?
oh god. I do
Well, we
remember
got
seeing a
their
salamander at our old house on Union Hill.
Well, that's one.
Carnegie and
Big deal. I'm
Yeah.
sure they exist somewhere.
yeah, I do remember
I
that.
remember it's not out, not as whimsical as the kids aren't as whimsical.
Carnegie and
today.
Preston found it, and I do remember that very, very vividly.
I'm sure everyone's enjoying our
Well, now I'm like, when was the last time you found a salamander, y'all? Let us know. Okay.
All right, we're all over the place, but we are
Cool.
hearts full, and we'll see you soon.
Oh no.